Laylo, welcome to Let the Quran Speak.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you for having me here.
I understand that you're very concerned about food waste in Canada and, of course, around the world as well. Tell me a little bit about what food waste is.
I could speak for Canada mostly because I've researched a lot about Canadian food waste, and it's really bad. So it's like 58% of food is wasted,
Mhm.
and it amounts to $31 billion worth of food. I could even give the numbers like in households, like for example, you're taking 3 grocery bags to home, and one of them you're just basically tossing them in the garbage.
Wow.
So
Yeah.
it's really sad, and it's like $1,600 worth of food every household is wasting every
Mhm.
year. So it's a lot of food that's being wasted.
Is it because of food spoilage? Is it because people just don't want to eat the food? Is it like at the retail level? Like, what is the reason why food is being wasted at
There,
such a great extent?
yeah, I mean, there are lots of reasons. Number one is mismanagement, not proper coordination, and not properly storing the food, and also very picky consumers. They wouldn't pick a little bit of blemished or ugly kind of fruits.
What they call ugly fruits,
What,
yeah?
yeah, what they call ugly, right? Like, I mean, little differently shaped or a little
Mhm.
longer, shorter than the normal standards. So, I mean, picky consumers, and also, people don't really know about best before and expiry dates
Mhm.
that much. So, we have to educate. I mean, our charity really focuses on educating about best before and expiry dates because uh, that's the biggest amount of food that's being wasted, where we could say people, when it's kind of nearing best before date any food, they would just toss them in the garbage, right?
Mhm.
Instead of using them, because for example, cereals could be used even 1 year after the best before date,
Mhm.
right? It's the public health kind of standards even. But a lot of people don't know, even like 2 days after, they'll be just throwing them out. And a lot of food is being wasted like everywhere, in hotels and restaurants and food chains, any grocery stores and households, when there's abundance of food, so people don't really think much, right, about
Mhm.
the consequences. We just keep buying, when grocery stores kind of have items that says like get one and the second one is free
Yes,
or something like that,
we're
right? So
tempted to buy it.
yeah, we're tempted to buy, and then we just don't even realize that we're wasting that food
Mhm.
at home, because a lot of the times it's the produce that's being wasted. It's the biggest wastage, right? So, I mean, we'll have to really look at uh, not only best before expiry dates, but we'll have to really look at, buying consciously. Like, we'll have to really make grocery lists before going to the store, or we'll have to really pay attention to, the food that are in the front of the fridge or in the back of the fridge. We'll have to really consume leftover foods if possible, and then freeze whatever is not being utilized. So we'll have to really pay attention to what we're doing with the food.
I think Canada has one of the highest numbers of food waste on all the world, which is very surprising
Yes,
and
it's on the
alarming.
top. Yeah, it's on
Yeah.
the top list, unfortunately.
And I believe that food waste contributes to climate change as well because it produces this methane gas,
Methane,
right?
toxic methane gas. Yeah, it's like 10 times more potent than regular CO2. So
Mm-hmm.
it's really toxic to the environment. It's not only affecting the environment and the climate changes happening, it's also affecting the
Mm-hmm.
oceans.
Mm-hmm.
And as you guys all know, like 2/3 of the world is covered with water, right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you could like imagine for a second that so much toxicity is going into the water, into oceans, you could just see in upcoming like 20 years, the acidity level in oceans will be so high that a lot of fish might go extinct.
Mm-hmm.
And the also it might leak into our regular tap waters, right? Like, because we might extract water, from oceans and from water resources, and it might create a lot of health problems in people. So it's really concerning that entire world's population could be affected. And number one country that will be affected would be Canada
Mm-hmm.
and Russia, because we're very close to the glaciers, the ice, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's already melting at a very, very high rate.
Let's talk about food insecurity because at the same time that we're experiencing food waste, we're also experiencing food insecurity, and it's rising in Canada and really across the globe because
Right.
of, because of COVID and also because of the war in Ukraine with Russia. So there's a lot going on,
Right, right,
and people are suffering. And I understand in Canada, food insecurity is rising now.
right, right. So,
What are the numbers, by the way, in Canada?
yeah, 1 in 7 people in Canada is food insecure, very
Okay.
unfortunately. And like 1 in 5 kids go like they're malnourished. I could say they don't get the nutrients that are according to Canadian health standards, unfortunately. Our charity aims at doing two things. Number one, trying to save the environment, and at the same time, trying to feed those who are in need. Especially this year, I noticed that with rising prices in gas and groceries, right? So I noticed that our food has been going so fast in our fridges, community
Hmm.
fridges, that the people who take care of the fridges will have different supervisor for each location across GTA. So they are calling us saying that food has been emptied out like in 20 minutes and 30
Wow.
minutes,
Hmm.
like, or in half an hour. Can you bring in more food? So I mean, we could see that it's really alarming that so many people are now out of jobs, or they cannot pay for their groceries. Even there are cases where I encounter ladies, especially our Rexdale fridge in Etobicoke. We have a lot of single moms that we serve there, and one of the ladies saying that I have to choose between rent, like roof over my head, or eating food. So basically, my kids could only survive on pasta. The produce and all nutritious food is out of the question.
Hmm.
And she's saying this is such a lifesaver for us. My
Hmm.
kids, she has like 4 kids. She's saying it's like a lifesaver for me. I could make sure my kids are having at least once a week some produce, some nutritious food.
Hmm.
We're very happy that our community fridges could at least do something. At least few hundred families are being taken care of on a weekly basis, and we're still happy with that.
Hmm. Tell me how you're fighting food waste. You mentioned the fridges already, but tell us a little bit about Road to Zero Waste,
Mhm.
why you started it, how you started it, and how it's functioning.
Okay, we started in 2017. When I came to Canada, I realized a lot of food is being wasted because when we shopped at Longo's, we would see lots of produce on the side of the uh, aisles where it says reduced price items, and I'm like, "What you gonna do with the food?" I asked one of the clerks. They're like, "Oh, if it's not being sold within today, we just toss them." I'm like, "So much food."
Hmm.
So that's how I started researching, and I decided to do something where we could tackle two things: food insecurity, and at the same time, take care of the waste. Because as Muslims, it's our obligation uh, to really not waste any resources,
Hmm.
right? It's sinful. So it really hurt me so badly seeing tons of food being wasted. We even did with my husband, we even did some scouting, and when we went behind the Walmart and Longo's, Shoppers, those kind of stores, and we kind of opened the bins and we saw, because I want to really see is it reality or not. I was shocked, like the amount of perfectly edible, tons of food, probably $10,000, $15,000 worth of food just on a regular basis.
Hmm.
It's been thrown out, right? And then I said, we'll have to do something.
Hmm.
So we started with one community fridge, and then nowadays we'll have 9 community fridges.
Congratulations.
Jazakallah
That's
khair.
great.
So, yeah, so I mean,
So where does the
issues.
food come from for the fridges?
Our donations come from different food chains like Second Harvest, Longo's, Starbucks, different restaurants or grocery stores.
Hmm.
So,
So they
and
give you the food that they're not able to use then?
there, yeah, it's surplus.
Okay.
So because of picky
Consumers.
consumers, a lot of food is not even sold for that day, let's say. And then they're like, either you take it or we toss it.
Hmm.
And obviously, we're going to come to take the food. And sometimes even there's some items like chips or cereal and stuff like that, and like non-perishable items. They near their best before date, and they're not able to sell them, right? Even at a reduced price, they're not able to sell most of
Mm.
the time. So those kind of items we take, and then sometimes restaurants when they sell, for the day, the food, there's a lot of leftovers,
Mhm.
like from that day, and they cannot sell it the next day, so they have to give it to us.
So is it actually like, meat and chicken
Yeah,
and rice and
of
things like this?
course. Yeah,
Or is it mostly fruits?
no, no,
It's
like
everything.
we have everything. We
Okay.
have all kinds of stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah, I mean, mashallah. So it's been going really well, and hopefully, we could establish many, many community fridges, inshallah, across GTA and beyond, because we get a lot of requests from other provinces, right? Can you please
Mhm.
establish here, establish there? So, I mean, we're working on a lot of things. Inshallah, hopefully, we're able to achieve what we're aiming at,
We wish you
inshallah.
all the best and we hope
Thank
it
you so
grows. Thank you for
You're
joining us
welcome.
and I wish you all the best with your
Thank you.
project. I hope it expands to all of Canada.
Inshallah. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. On behalf of Let the Quran Speak, I want to say thank you. You've helped us become the most widely watched Muslim TV show in Canada. I want to appeal to you to continue to support us. You can visit our website, QuranSpeaks.com. We also accept e-transfers to igive@QuranSpeaks.com. And we're now on Patreon, so you can make a monthly contribution. May God bless you and your loved ones today and always.